We have another NHL trade to discuss tonight. There's a lot of trade activity here today, this time between the Avalanche and Blackhawks, a 4-player deal. We'll discuss all the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have yet another trade to discuss. This one we certainly did not see coming, but a 4-player deal has been exchanged here between the Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, going from Chicago to Colorado is veteran forward Brandon Saad, who has 1 year left on his contract, $6 million cap hit, but the Blackhawks did retain $1 million of his salary cap, so obviously that's going to be a $5 million cap hit for the Avalanche. Along with Saad going to the Avalanche is prospect defenseman Dennis Gilbert, who's seen a very limited amount of NHL action. I believe he's had somewhere between 20 and 25 games, a few years at the American Hockey League here as well. So given the depth of the Avalanche blue line, I would say more than likely he'll play for their American Hockey League team. Not sure he's really going to have a great deal of a chance getting on the NHL roster, but either way, he gets to play in the Avalanche system. Going back to the Chicago Blackhawks is big defenseman Nikita Zadorov, 6'6" defenseman who can play either side of the ice, certainly known for his physical play, was a restricted free agent defenseman at the time of the trade. Right after arriving in Chicago, they immediately signed him to a 1-year contract, valued at $3.2 million. So it's a somewhat of a confusing trade, to be honest. I mean, I understand the Avalanche's need to want to add another middle six or top six forward. I knew they were in the market for a forward like that, so Saad fits the bill. Given the guys he can play with, I would imagine he can probably should be able to be relied on for a 20-goal season theoretically. So I don't mind Saad going to the Avalanche. I think that should actually work relatively well. But again, for Chicago, who appears to be somewhat, they're sending signals of maybe going through a rebuild by how they're handling their goaltending. They don't bring back Corey Crawford. They let him go as a UFA. They basically gave Robin Leonard away at the deadline, so they have no goaltending left. They're going to be running basically with Malcolm Subban and Colin Delia, and to be honest, I don't have much confidence there. I'm not sure that either one of them are even qualified to be a solid backup, let alone a starter. So there's obviously a lot of concerns that way. They do have a lot of great deep prospects, though, that are going to be looking for playing time. So when they trade Saad, to me, that kind of signals another move to kind of do a bit of a rebuild. I mean, obviously, you have Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, who played some great hockey in the playoffs to beat the Oilers. Like, I didn't see Chicago making these types of moves in a way. Like, kind of a little bit surprised. I thought they'd keep Crawford around a little bit longer. But to bring back Zadorov when they already have, some other prospects that are going to be looking for playing time. To me, I would have went more with the prospects. If I'm going to trade Saad, I probably would have been looking for draft picks or a prospect D or prospect for something else, like more for future assets instead of Zadorov. Not that I wouldn't mind Zadorov on my lineup. I mean, obviously, he's a really big physical defenseman for the right price. Obviously, 1 year, $3.2 million. That's not a terrible contract. It's just surprising. I just didn't see that coming at all. Like, Joe Sakic, for some reason, has been able to pull off a lot of great trades. At one point, I know he took a lot of criticism years back for holding on to Matt Duchene when it was publicly known for several months that he wanted to trade out of town. And once he finally made that move, he got a great return. And really, he's been on a roll ever since. Pretty much every trade Sakic has done has worked out masterfully. So I would fully suspect this to be no different. But again, it's not a bad trade for Chicago. It's just a confusing trade, in my opinion. Like, Zadorov could fit in okay. There's some question marks back there. Brent Seabrook, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be able to play? Of course, they bought out Olli Mata, so he's gone. They've had Calvin DeHaan last year. He went through a lot of injuries. So, I mean, same time they have young guys that they're going to want more playing time for, like Boakvist and Mitchell, etc. So, again, like I said, Zadorov's okay. Just confusing as to why they didn't go more of a future assets type of move. So, there's been talk about Saad being traded. There's been talk about Zadorov being traded. Just didn't quite see them being traded here for each other, but they're both players we've talked about on the channel on a variety of times over the last several months. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section, and we can discuss further. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.